as after a few hours of driving, he turned on the radio. At that time of night, there were few stations that actually employed workers. For the most part, music, and even talk radio, was pre-recorded and set to play at certain times. Robotic employees handled requests and calls from listeners, but whatever information was being delivered was already old news. Sources from the military base near Seattle have told us that Elaina Morgan, creator of the Morgan strain, has been captured and is currently being held by authorities. New information suggests that Morgan allegedly infected lab interns with her virus in order to bypass human trial regulations. While Morgan is no longer an immediate threat to the general population, her virus is still spreading at an exponential rate. Regardless of your distance from the epicenter, please use caution when interacting with others of unknown infection status. Also, sources close to the governor believe that the evacuation plan and travel ban will soon be enacted for the entirety of Washington state. If possible, avoid the Pacific Northwest region and those who have traveled from that area. Elaina didn't look, but she felt like everyone's eyes were on her. "I wonder when they'll update the news," Will said, suddenly awake. "I hope they don't," Natalia said. "If the world thinks that Elaina is being held by the military, then no one is going to notice her." Elaina smiled toward the floor. At least someone was still looking out for her. "I'd like to hear about new breakouts, though," Alec said gruffly. "The radio might be our only source of information while we're out here. Let's hope we get some answers soon." The radio changed to smooth jazz, and Alec turned the volume down to an indistinguishable level. The news had broken the spell of silence that had fallen over the vehicle. Everyone was awake and alert now. "Is it a good time to ask where we're going?" Will tried. The others looked at Alec for an answer. "I'm not exactly sure. I don't think we'll be able to cross the border, especially with Elaina in the truck. I don't want to go back to the city, because nothing is left there. I don't know. I don't know what our options are at this point." Quiet fell over the passengers again. No one had any good suggestions. Elaina wanted to go to a hospital, but she didn't want to give her reasoning away. If Alec knew she might be infected, he'd shoot her on the spot. They drove past two men walking down the side of the road. They didn't look at the car, but just kept walking. "Should we pick them up?" Natalia asked. "They could ride in the bed of the truck. I don't think they look infected. In fact, they look more afraid of us than we are of them." The two walked further away from the car and even stopped and waited for it to pass. They were thin and exhausted, but not skeletal like the infected were. "I don't think so," Will said softly. "We can't risk it." "I'm with Will," Alex said. "We already have a full car. I think we just need to worry about ourselves now." Natalia looked sadly out the window at the people she knew would never make it to their final destination. Without a vehicle, it would be hard to get far before the infected swarmed. "Look at all these people," Will noted, pointing at the increasing traffic around them. "They're all trying to get out of the city, too. I bet you that we'll be able to escape without any problems. Just follow these people, and we'll get the hell out of here." "Okay," Alex said. "I'll do my best." Elaina tried to look into the other cars to see what the passengers looked like. There were apparently more survivors than the military had believed. They had made it seem like the four of them were the only ones, but there were a few hundred vehicles lined up, waiting to get across the bridge. "The traffic's not even this bad during normal rush hour. I think they're being held up by something up there," Alex said, trying to look ahead. "I bet you wish you had your police sirens now," Will chuckled. Alec looked ahead. "More than you know. Maybe people would actually start driving," he grunted, stomping on his brake again. The cars, as if they had heard Alec's grumpy request, started moving forward. One by one, they moved until their truck could slowly roll along with the others. "Finally," Natalia breathed. "I think we're really getting out of here." Elaina felt hopeful. She knew that the virus existed outside of the city limits, but they were headed in the right direction. If other people were going to have the opportunity to live a new life, she might too. All she needed was to stay healthy until she found a